Commence primary ignition.
Never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Hello, this is Nelson Lee. I play Senator Hamato Ziono on Ahsoka, and you are watching the Virtual Cantina Network.
Hey everybody! Welcome to another episode of the Virtual Cantina Network. We're very excited about this episode, but first off, riding Chewie, we got Jeff. How are you, sir?
Hey, how you doing? Good to be here.
And Dave. How are you, sir?
How's it going?
Well, this is an episode that we've actually been wanting since season 2, and we're so excited about this because we have one of our VCN Hall of Famers of 2025, Diana Lee Inosanto. Diana, it is so lovely to finally have you on the show.
Thank you, everyone, for such the warm greeting. I love doing this. This is incredible. This is, this is my first watch along, so I'm just ecstatic. So I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
Happy you're here.
We're happy to hear. So we're going to be, talking about your experience with this episode and obviously and beyond, and we'll talk about a whole bunch of other things. But Dave, if someone wanted to ask a question of Diana or make fun of me, how would they do that?
So if they just send silly selfies of Spencer with a self-addressed stamped envelope to 5, no,
There you go.
what you can do. See, that's an old joke right there.
I know.
But
25 cents.
What you can do is just simply on whatever platform you're watching this, put your question in the chat. It'll come up here. We will look through those. We'll put some of them up on the screen. Some of them we won't get time for, but you can always just put your questions, whatever platform you are. We see them all. So feel free. Right there,
So-
Grand Admiral Holly is right there. She'll kick things off.
Hi, Grand Admiral Holly.
And there's a couple other in the chat. Troy says hello there, as does Mumbo Jumbo. So, hi, everyone.
So we're very, very excited about that. But a couple of quick things that we need to plug is first and foremost, all of our shows and everything going on this year is brought to you by New Hampshire LASIK Associates, which is the official sponsor for Boone to Eve, Texas 2. Yep, it might be time if you're a stormtrooper. So thank you very much to Ty and his crew over at New Hampshire LASIK Associates. And also want to say that tickets went on sale last week for Boone to Eve, Texas 2, and we are already 50% sold out.
Wow.
So
You did not say Electric Boogaloo, sir.
okay,
That's branding.
Texas to the Electric Boogaloo. Okay,
Thank you.
and like Mark said last week, if you understand that reference, you need LASIK now.
That is correct. That is.
Very much so.
So let's get jumping into start about all this. Diana, tell us about your entry point into Star Wars.
My entry point, like starting as a fan or
As a fan, we're gonna
that
go.
started
Take
with
it back.
the original Star Wars when George Lucas directed that one movie that would change everything. And I was a little girl in Aspen, Colorado. My dad was doing this international martial arts camp. And at that time, Aspen had a very small town feeling. It's not like the Aspen, Colorado we've come to know today, but it was great because there was only one movie theater in town, and everybody kept talking about this movie called Star Wars with the furry guy and the blah blah blah, and what but there's a lot of long lines, and then everybody's talking about it. So after my dad was done with the martial arts camp, everybody, it just seemed like in town, including everybody at the martial arts camp, went to the movie theater there, and it was packed. There was not one empty seat. And I tell you, by the time just the opening alone, to see like all the scrolling of in a galaxy and far, far away, blah blah blah, the audience went nuts. Especially when you're hearing John Williams' music lay down on top of the visuals, and everybody knew this was something different. And it's hard today because so many people take advantage of the technology we have now. But when you have never seen that, it was just mind blowing. And by the time we were getting close to the end of the movie, I mean, the entire theater was up on its feet, screaming like a rock concert. I don't know if it was that way at all for you guys, but it certainly was for me. People were screaming. It was
like no pre-internet spoilers and stuff in 77 is, there was
movies had to be spoiled the old-fashioned way, like Homer did it when he left Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, people walking out as
Darth Vader's Luke Skywalker.
It wasn't even like some movies and shows will like spoil half of it with the trailers. It's like you've seen.
But before you even get in the seats.
But no, it wasn't that way then.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why it was just so. Sorry, I'm trying to, by the way, make sure my screen is here. And that's why it was just so magical. The closest I've had to that kind of magic, again, in Star Wars, is when they kept Mark Hamill a secret for the end of season 2. That's the closest I think we came to that, where nobody saw that coming.
Right.
And I mean, kudos to Lucasfilm for knowing how to keep a good secret, from everybody within the cast and crew as well. So they're
amazing.
Well, I mean, season 1, episode 1, the Grogu was like,
we just watched that with Brendan. So
or Baby Yoda at the time.
Well, if you want to say is that Jon Favreau is doing the pressers right now for the movie, and half the time he calls him Baby Yoda, like the entire time.
As well.
You can't help doing that. He's so cute and adorable. So I mean, it's interesting because when we watched this episode, this was also an important episode because it would announce.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if
spoiler alert. That there's a name that comes up, which is fun. Anybody who's watching with us, hopefully has seen the episode probably multiple times.
Right. So what was interesting about this episode, obviously is, the first thing that people were very excited about is, one, Dave's live action debut as a director.
Yeah.
And obviously the live action debut of Ahsoka. So we finally got to see that.
Yeah.
But there were 2 other surprises that were buried in this episode that were as important. One was obviously the name of Baby Yoda. And 2, trying to get some information about this guy. The name drop.
That's right.
Admiral Thrawn.
I got my Game of Thrones t-shirt. Thrawn in the armchair.
That's a great.
But it was a moving and shaking, I want to say, era-changing episode.
Yes, and here's the other thing. There's a 4th thing that happened. I didn't know my name was Morgan Elsbeth until the night it aired.
Oh, wow.
Kept that a secret from me.
So there's no reference during your on-screen time to that name?
It's Magistrate.
It was just the Magistrate.
Oh, that's right. That's true.
It was just
so they talk about you elsewhere in the episode.
But they never revealed that until the night the episode aired.
That's true.
That my character was called Morgan Elsbeth. And I'm like, oh, they kept that a secret, So, but I can see why they did that. They have to. They're so secretive, in a way, I love it because to me, it's like a birthday surprise. You know, you just
Yeah.
oh, I didn't see that coming.
Add to the the awesomeness of the moment. I'm sure.
Yeah, it did.
So tell us about the process. I love the story, and Jeff and I have heard this before, and Dave has, of how you got the call for this and not even realize that you were going to be in a Star Wars.
Oh, I thought it was a joke at first. I honestly, I thought somebody was playing a practical joke on me. I thought there is just no way that I'm getting a call. I couldn't get an agent in Hollywood at that time. And so when you think about, you know, my age, I just thought this is a joke. But what happened was 10 years previous, I wrote, directed, and I starred in an independent film called The Sensei. I was pretty much taking a cue from my godfather, who's the late Bruce Lee. And I thought, you know what? Nobody's going to give me a chance but me. So let me try. And some other people in my family and my circle said, why don't you try to direct and write and just do what your godfather did? And so I did The Sensei. And it was hard because that movie was one of the first crop of independent films released on the internet, but the internet wasn't like what it is today. You know, streaming was just like pioneer days. And you know, I just thought, oh wow, this is a loss, you know, and I tried, but it's okay. And
learning experience kind of thing.
Yeah, but lo and behold, I did not know that 10 years into the future, there would be two gentlemen that would change my life, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and Jon would tell, from what I understand, and I believe it's written in a book, that it's Star Wars, The Mandalorian. You know what I'm talking about, the book? Anyway, it goes into Jon telling, my computer's on top of it, or I would show you, but into, yes. So Jon goes,
I have that book.
Yeah, I
have it somewhere
need to
too.
find somebody that really is a martial artist and who can act. And Dave goes, okay, let me go and find her. And so Dave goes on the internet and he scours it and he types in badass woman martial artist. This is what he said. And I guess my picture came up from my movie I did 10 years ago.
Google knew exactly what he was looking for.
Yeah, Google did. Google was my best friend. And somehow they were able to track my friend and my manager, who was still trying to manage me, Tarek Heitman. And Tarek gives me a call and he goes, I vetted them and I think they're real and they want you to audition. You have 3 days. And I knew nothing about the character. I knew nothing about what would be expected of me. I thought maybe it was just potentially a one-liner and I'm done. And I went in, I auditioned. They're dummy sides, so you would never know in a million years that it was Star Wars. And I got a call 4 days later that I got the role, but I still would never know, you know, until, I was asked to come on the set a month later and I met with Jon and Dave and I was having an out-of-body experience. So that's kind of the quick story of it all.
Warren agrees with you when it comes to badass woman martial artist.
Oh, thank you, Warren.
Hello there, Warren.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, you do that search here, and it just like the magazine covers are endless. You on the cover of Kung Fu magazine and Martial Arts magazine, and Black Belt magazine and Self Defense magazine, and all of those things along with the Sensei.
Yeah, that's right. There was
helps reinforce it, I think.
I guess so, you know. I think I was in a book called Badass Women in Martial Arts. So I'm sure all of it, the algorithm said, okay, Dave, let's go this direction. You know?
Yes.
I mean, Dave, obviously being a student himself of George Lucas and having the influences of Kurosawa. Especially in this episode in particular, it's pretty fitting how his Kismet, how everything sort of came together.
Yeah,
with this whole.
Yes, and I will tell you, I didn't know at the time, but this episode was very important. You know, because this is what they call a spin-off episode, right?
Right.
And it was important that audiences worldwide connected with Ahsoka. I mean, here she is, Ahsoka, right? And this would determine, whether or not there would be an actual show from what I understand. And I didn't know that at the time, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because that's a lot of pressure. But I knew it was an important day, just because Dave directing and John producing, and then George coming by the set with Kathleen Kennedy that day to watch us do our fight scene. It was incredible.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, it was, and yet an honor. And John had introduced me very quickly, because I was still coming back and forth from the area on the bridge, and he was so lovely to introduce me to George that day with Kathleen and Doug Chang. And George mentioned something about Kurosawa and going on about how he did his fight scenes. It was just an amazing moment for me.
So Warren actually has a question. Any fun stories about Uncle Ed?
Ed, as in Ed Parker?
I would imagine, because I know Warren was one of your night troopers, so maybe.
I wonder if he's referencing Ed Parker. Can you say yes or no, Warren?
Let's see.
Ed Parker is very important, because he is
Parker, yeah.
Parker.
A Kempo Karate, and Uncle Ed actually introduced my mom and dad.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, before he ran the Chinatown school, would run the school with Ed Parker, or the Kempo Karate School. And that's where my dad used to teach. So,
Nice.
yeah, kind of. And he also was the gentleman that started the International Long Beach Championships and introduced Uncle Bruce to the world.
Oh.
Yeah, so a lot of history there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Amazing.
you mentioned before that this role in particular has been life-changing for you, and it's also given you an opportunity to now travel the world as a representative of Star Wars at various conventions, everything. What has that meant to you to connect with the fans around the world who love this saga?
It's an honor. I don't take it lightly, my position. I feel, I think the phrase I've heard is we're like ambassadors for Lucasfilm and Star Wars. So I take it very seriously when I go out and I meet the fans and I listen to them and I hear them. And I love connecting and bonding with their joy in Star Wars. And I ask them, what are the stories? What was it that made them, really just stick with Star Wars through the years? And I've seen generations of families come and visit me, and I love how it brings people together. As a mother of a son with autism, I particularly love the connection I have with the neurodivergent world. And so it gives me a great opportunity to, really connect on different levels and different pathways I never thought possible. Mm. And so this is where I feel it is just such an honor and an amazing journey to be part of the Star Wars universe. It really is.
It's always fun to hear how, when we hear how much an actor or a production person has enjoyed Star Wars already, then personally, and then being able to be part of it, and then it just sort of blossoms from there. Yeah,
and it's so wild for me because when I first saw Star Wars, immediately my father turned to me and my mother, and he goes, "Can you imagine if they could do just a fight scene with 2 lightsabers? It would be amazing because you could use Filipino martial arts." And then he would later, when we went back to California where we lived, eventually he would find these plastic kind of lightsabers, and he would actually train me in martial arts using these plastic lightsabers. Wow. So, yeah, it's talk about foreshadow,
full circle.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So we had our theories when we first saw your character come on that you were potentially going to be a Night Sister, especially because of your hair and the makeup and everything. Did you know she was going to be turning into a Night Sister, or did you not know that until Ahsoka?
Dave did reveal to me on the set when I was doing my scene with, I can't remember, I think it was with Brendan. I think it was there he mentioned, he goes, "You're going to be a Night Sister." And I'm like, wow. and because I knew who Asajj Ventress was, right? Because I mean, I've always been a fan of Dave Filoni's work with Clone Wars. I had my kids watching Clone Wars and Rebels, and yeah, I knew right away the relevance of that. So, but then I thought, well, how are they going to mention this? And I thought, well, maybe there's another scene where they mention it, but then they didn't. And I just think I'm trying to remember. It's been a while, but I just knew this was going to be a really important secret, and it was important to to see if audiences were picking up on any clues too.
Oh, we absolutely did,
So
and
much
obviously, in one of your big scenes in Ahsoka, when you got the Sword of Talzin, which was obviously a throwback to Mother Talzin from the Clone Wars. It was like was the ultimate honor because Mother Talzin was so prevalent.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it just, and then if what's really interesting, I don't know if fans have had the chance to watch the animation Tales of the Empire. I love that because
great episodes.
Yeah, because it really does. It connects you to this episode that we're about to watch, and it gives quite the backstory that we all kind of needed to understand Morgan and why she's wired the way she is. So
it's those series of Tales shows are a great way to fill in those gaps with backstory and stuff. They did a great job with
Dooku. It explained everything about like your history with the character and how got connected with the Empire and Thrawn, and taking over the village, and it was just we had so many theories from that.
I know. I loved reading the theories. For me, it was so fun because you have to remember it was during the pandemic too. So I loved hearing the fans, and what their theories were. And I'm like, oh, they're close. So it was fun, and, during the pandemic, it was kind of hard because, for me, I was on lockdown for a long time, and the fans were, to me, my filter to how people were responding. And I just loved just listening to the fans and seeing their response, seeing the watch-alongs and seeing how they were reacting. It was incredible.
What was your impression the first time you saw either your action figure or your Funko Pop?
Oh my gosh. I was like, this is too crazy. It's just nuts. And now there's just so many toys on Morgan Elsbeth. I mean, there's the keychain Funko Pop. There's the 2 Funko Pops, the one with the, where she's got the marks and then, oh my gosh, it's just crazy. Lego, Black Series. What's the other one? The Kenner dolls.
Being a Lego minifig is actually pretty exclusive. So that's really cool.
Yes, it was just, it's nuts. I'm honored.
What about that one signed by?
What's the one? Oh my gosh! Yeah, is that the Black Series?
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
Signed in Texas.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh,
Nice.
That's great. Oh my god.
Protective cover.
Mm-hmm. What did it mean to you for them to call you to voice Morgan for the animation?
I remember when we were rehearsing for Ahsoka online, he mentioned something. Dave had mentioned something about the animation, but I didn't know the scale of what was going to happen. He kept that a secret too. He's doing this.
So like everything he does has to be a secret.
I know, but it's a tradition.
Yeah.
It's a Star Wars family tradition,
That's the whole thing. No spoilers.
No spoilers. But when I got the script, I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm reading this. I'm like, holy smokes, they are dedicating half the series to Morgan Elsbeth. And I'm like, so it's amazing how they've just been really just putting the information out. And there's still more questions that I have that I'm hoping one day they'll answer. I got a lot of questions myself about Morgan.
Well, there was a question earlier in the chat that I don't know that you can answer, but I don't know how much more,
if you even
like
know.
Backstory that there is. Has anybody even come up with this stuff yet? Is there any insight into how you found Merrick and how like
See?
came back to life, and like the smoke and the magic and the things and the stuff and the
Again, they have not revealed this, but
Yeah.
this is exciting. You know, I mean,
I'm sure Dave and John are all. I know exactly what led to that,
well,
but
they're amazing minds. They're always turning. And listen, I mean, the staff members they have that work with Lucasfilm, I don't, you know, they're just so incredible. And you know, even like when I'm out there on the road, sometimes I'll bump into Timothy Zahn, and I'm so grateful to Timothy. I mean, where would we be without Thrawn?
oh right, the fact that he was able to bring in these new characters into the
Well,
to the
we
universe.
talk about that. You know, we call it the dark times when we had 16 years of nothing, no live action, but the first things we got were the Heir to the Empire books by Timothy Zahn, which sparked all of our imaginations for for what could happen in Star Wars. And then when Dave brought him back for Rebels, and then obviously for Ahsoka, I mean, we all lost our minds that this was an act, because he was the character that we like that kept us hungry for Star Wars until the prequels.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And so I'm so grateful, and I'm so glad that, you know, I remember the moment watching everybody watching the Jedi episode, and everyone's reaction about when Rosario says, where's, Grand Admiral Thrawn, and to just see everybody go, what, to connect now all these different mediums of Star Wars. It's just,
we were doing a something, because the episodes dropped on Tuesdays, and normally we have a Zoom kind of standing meeting we call happy hour every Tuesday, and so during the time frame when the episodes were dropping on Tuesdays, which we would have what we called what was it, Ahsoka? Oh,
it was not the after show. It was a
what, the Summer of Snips?
No.
It was like a therapy session that we were
going through. Yeah, that was right. When we
it's Ahsoka therapy sessions. Yeah,
basically it was Ahsoka. So everybody would be on the Zoom. They would jump off for an hour, 40 minutes, whatever. Come back when the episode was done, or when they, and then everybody would just unload everything they thought.
Support group. It was the Ahsoka support group.
Ahsoka support group. Yeah. So we did that regularly while the show was new, and we would literally, be on Zoom talking about it immediately after it aired. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, isn't that crazy? The excitement. It's just amazing.
Yeah, everybody was very eager to talk about it, so that made that a very kind of.
And some other people apparently had it as well. As they had like Tano
Tuesday, yeah.
I love that. I know Rosario gets a kick out of all this. Her and Ash. So
yeah, she's great as well. She's always very personable, so that's she understands that people are rabid about this stuff.
Yeah. No, it's true. So
we're about that time right now. So if everybody can make sure that you have your D+ machines all queued up, we're going to be. It does start with a recap, so please make sure that you are set up to the recap. Once everybody here is ready, we'll do the second countdown. So just let us know when you're ready.
Okay.
So we're going to throw up the countdown on screen. When it gets to the end, go ahead and press play. It says play. You can do it right at the end, at the 0 or the play, and that'll keep you kind of in line with where everybody else is.
All right,
we can,
guys.
Talk about things as they happen. So here we go. Here comes the countdown.
Okay, so we're starting right here, but I have to ask, what was your impression when you first saw Baby Yoda, Grogu?
So are we on the recap? I see
Star
Wars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Star Wars. Okay. And then I'm seeing the
You see Emily and Brendan right now.
Woo, wait a minute. I think I'm on the recap right now.
Yes, we're watching that too. That's the recap.
they're talking in the foundry or wherever.
I see Win. Hold on a second. Oh, wait. Did we or is this the
Jump
beginning? I think I need to catch up with you guys. Or I think I might be ahead.
So we're still seeing the attack on the ship that the Mandos did, and some other things.
We're seeing Katie, Mercedes, and Simon right now.
Let me know when you start hearing the alien language. So I for some reason I'm ahead of you guys. I'm gonna wait, guys.
So this is all a lot of stuff back and forth with Katie's Bo-Katan character and Mando.
Yeah, I mean you see Titus too. I know eventually.
Yeah, he was there a moment ago. Or that was a different.
No, we saw Titus Brown before he killed himself.
Yeah.
Okay, we're on the Lucasfilm logo
Mando.
right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Lucasfilm logo.
Let me know when they're all shouting in alien language.
Okay.
We'll catch up to you and you can hit play.
Shortly, we just saw the Mando bucket.
The helmets.
They're all running around.
And panic shouting. Alarm gong.
Yes.
Trolling.
Yep. We got the wide shot of the street.
My lines are all shouting in alien language.
Panicked chattering. So everybody's running around in the little town courtyard there.
I love this set.
With the bell ringing.
Yep.
How much of the streets and setup was practical?
Oh, it was practical.
Oh,
Are you there yet all shouting alien language yet?
We just saw Rosario slicing people down.
Right there. That's
Rosario
I just hit all. Yeah.
Yep. Speaking alien language. Yep.
Okay, got it. Yes, she's slicing.
Speaking alien language.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh, doesn't she look amazing?
Yes.
I remember this day when they filmed this. This was my first day actually on the set, and she would tease me because I was up above. She's like, "I'm going to take your Beskar spear." I'm like, "How dare you?"
Yeah, up on that balcony there with Michael. That's another great character to bring into Star Wars.
It really is. It really is.
Johnny Ringo.
Yeah. That's what Brendan always goes back to, is that he was so in awe of being able to work with Johnny Ringo because of his Western work. So
and it was such a good time for them to be able to meet, and because of the whole. Oh my gosh, it's so weird for me to see myself like that. Are you guys? If you've already seen me.
Yeah, we just saw you.
You were on the balcony a moment ago.
I think I'm still a couple of seconds.
That's fine.
We can be roughly around the same time. It doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Feel free to talk about anything that you see or remember, or just decide to, pops in your head.
Yeah. I mean, what I remember about this day is when I came to the set, I love how Dave Filoni was just so welcoming. He's like, "What do you think? What do you think of your plays?" I was really like Magistrate, and this is all for you. I'm like, and I was so overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, And it's supposed to be this really tough, woman. Oh, this is what the lines are, and the band.
She is very imposing, that's for sure.
Yes, she is, and I definitely, I will say this dialogue was very close to pretty much my audition lines. It's just, when I think back of my audition, this it read more like a period piece, but I definitely got the feeling that she was definitely a villain. But of course, no villains really look at themselves as a villain, right?
Right. Yep.
Oh, now we know your story from Tales. You definitely did not think of yourself as a villain.
No, I mean, anyway, Morgan's also kind of a really sad, tragic character too.
Right.
I keep, you think about these two characters who both have seen a lot of horrible things in the galaxy, and yet, Morgan went one way, and then you see Ahsoka go another way, and she becomes a force literally for good, right? And then, Morgan's all about survival, the fittest kind of attitude. And I think that's philosophically, that's the cool thing about how Dave developed these characters. They're very yin and yang to each other.
Right.
But it's an honor to play this character that he developed. And and I do, going back to Tales of the Empire, the vulnerability. I'm at the credits now. Mandalorian.
Yep, that's where we're at.
Mandalorian.
Just
came out.
Yes.
And there's Baby Yoda Grogu.
Yeah, watching Ahsoka disappear like into the dust and fog.
Oh yeah, that was great. That scene in the forest with her with the lightsabers and the way that she could kind of disappear when she turned them off was really cool.
Liberty asked this question, but did Maria do your hair?
Yes, she did. She's been with me through the whole journey. Thank you.
We love Maria.
Maria, because she is an artist when it comes to our wigs. I mean, it's a lot that she has to contend with, and she's brilliant.
Oh, and also for those who did not know, and you are going to Rebel Scum Con, Maria is going to have a booth at Rebel Scum Con and be doing hair for anybody who wants it done for Bunta or for the con.
That's awesome. I did not know this. So she's spectacular. And she even came up with a new system for both Natasha and I with our wigs to get them on and off. Because wigs can be painful when you're wearing them for 12, 13, 14, 15, hours a day.
Pressure.
Yeah, a lot of pressure. So ask her about that. It's very fascinating. So by the way, I'm eating my popcorn in my Star Wars bowl.
Yes.
Amazing. So when you knew you had the role and you're going through the process of finding your character, what influences did you call upon to find the soul of Morgan?
Oh my gosh, thank you for asking that question. So a lot of people don't know this. I know most people think, oh, she's a martial artist. Oh, she was a former stunt woman, but people don't know I was a classically trained actress in stage work. So I belonged to two theater companies. And we actually did Shakespeare, and we did Julius Caesar, and we did this experimental show where I played Julius Caesar. And I thought, there's a lot to Morgan Elsbeth that kind of reminds me of Caesar. And then I looked at some other historical characters, and I just decided that were, sort of ruthless, like Catherine the Great and just different people that I thought would make her colorful. And I knew I had a sense, listening to a lot of the antagonists throughout the Star Wars universe. And I knew they kind of had either a mid-Atlantic or Shakespearean, or an English, kind of like a British accent, almost like the old 50s movies, like with Spartan, right? Mm-hmm. And I kind of knew to kind of go that direction. And sure enough, it paid off. And so what was my questions? I'm rambling here, but so that's how I prepped for Morgan Elsbeth. And again, when Dave and I talked about her character, he said, just keep in mind, she never sees herself as a victim. She's one that she's very manipulative. She knows how to manipulate people. That's how she's been able to survive her whole life. And so this is where she's at in this episode, where she's gained a lot of power and keeping a very powerful secret, right? Where are we at?
Michael is talking to Amanda right now.
Oh, look at Grogu!
He's tucked away in the bag and out of sight.
Can I tell you how wonderful it was? My process with talking to Mando. Yeah, what Dave did for me. He arranged for me to have a reading with Pedro.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people don't know that. And so I believe it was my first day after getting, meeting John face to face and Dave and getting caught up. He goes, well, let's have you read with Pedro. He's coming in, blah, 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 blah. And I was just thrilled to meet with Pedro because I know how busy his schedule is. And it was such a joy to spend that hour to read and go over that scene and to just start looking at the scene and dissecting it and, trying to understand how to make the scene even stronger. And that was so important that Dave did that for me as an actress, because now I can carry Pedro's voice in my head. And so the day that I was with Brendan, people don't know this, Brendan is expected to learn Pedro's lines. And Dave is giving him all kinds of direction. So he, in body language, is embodying, Sinjarin. And it was just such a wild process to be able to be with both Brendan and Pedro and to be able to execute the scene. And so it's a really unique experience to have as an actress.
I know they just released a couple of days ago, which I was very, very happy to hear that Brendan and Lateef got 3rd and 4th billing on the movie.
I had heard something about this.
Wow.
And let me tell you, Lateef is also very important. When you are the stunt double, and having to come up with the fighting style. And I know this from my early days when I used to double for Sarah Michelle Gellar for Buffy. A lot of people don't know that I was her double and helped do the presentation, right? But it's a responsibility in itself, because the world is connecting. When you do a fight scene, it's another form of dialogue, and Lateef does it beautifully, and so does Brendan. It really is a very unique process. Oh my gosh.
You being the koi.
Ooh.
So that was a practical set with water and a giant building and a wall all the way around it.
Yes, I love
part of the way, most of the way.
I want to take this thing home. Do you know we had so much time with this set, and then they had to tear it down? I'm like, no.
Yeah. That's the process of getting rid of them.
But see that bowl I'm carrying? It was really cool. The props department with Josh, he brought a whole tray of different bowls, and Dave's like, "Okay, it's for you to choose." And
it's like choosing a lightsaber.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
And are you going to be eating popcorn out of that later? You have that? It's on the shelf behind you, right?
Where is that? Is that what you're?
What's
Drinking bone broth out of that bowl.
That's true. Yes. It's interesting. You guys know, here's a little tidbit. See this droid?
Right.
The gentleman that was the droid, because it's all green screen. You guys used to watch The Bionic Woman as kids?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
That's her son. That's Lindsay's son.
Wow, Lindsay Wagner's son.
Oh, that's Dorian.
I never even told that information before. That is him.
Oh, it is Dorian.
I was like, I love your mom.
He was Cad Bane as well in the Book of Boba Fett.
Wait a minute. Was he? I didn't know that.
Dorian is Cad Bane.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that.
That droid also is very reminiscent of Two Boots from the Mandalorian, the Shadow Lord series. So they've, I love how they take the things full circle like that, where they revisit.
Yeah, but this set is just stunning. I mean, talk about channeling Kurosawa.
This was all in Manhattan Beach.
And see that spear?
Yeah.
So Jon Favreau did something, and I really thought it was smart that he did this. Thank goodness he did this. He pulled me over, and he. If I recall correctly, there was an assortment of different potential spears that I could use, right? And I said, I want that one because some of them I knew with the kind of fight scene we were going to do, it would cut my hands if there's too much engraving in it.
Hard edges on it or knurling or something.
Yeah, and I thought that was so smart that John did that he would actually ask me about this because he wanted me to be very comfortable with the Beskar spear and be able to move around comfortably. And I knew the more simpler the design, the better for me. And that would be with any warrior. You don't want that.
Right.
Well, it's good that he did that for you because Brendan calls it the bastard because it kept on getting caught in his cape.
Yeah, in his boot.
His boot.
Yeah, he would have it on it over his shoulder or whatever, and it would get caught as he moved around on different parts of his
Right.
costume.
He's got Morgan's spear. You should know.
Gotta go take it from him.
Yeah.
So Lila is asking something about the costumes. Can you talk about your costume and like how the look of it, but also I'm sure the practicality of how you can move in those.
Because it's got to be
And rest in peace, Shauna.
Yes,
Shauna.
rest in peace, Shauna. Thank you. Shauna, our amazing costume designer, was the designer of this amazing, beautiful costume. And she was, so a lot of people think I'm wearing a long skirt. I'm not. I'm wearing a hakama. If you've studied kendo, and what she did was she cleverly just added more fabric, which made it a little bit more challenging when I did the fight scene because it would kind of fly around. And yes, I know what Brenda's talking about, because when you're using the Beskar spear, sometimes it gets tied into the fabric, and they actually had a hero spear,
right,
and they had a shorter one. Just for I guess close-ups, so I didn't have to always lug around this tall spear. And but the costume was here we go.
It's such an amazing scene with these two.
So this isn't it. I just pause for a second. This is interesting because I did not know. I never got an entire script, so I didn't realize that Ahsoka would be the first to deal with combatively with the Beskar material. I thought it was going to be me. So Brendan got to and Latif got to experience this moment first with the Beskar versus the lightsaber. But I remember Rosario saying something about it. I'm like, huh? I was kind of baffled. But when I saw this scene, then I realized, okay, this is that moment, and I love this.
Yeah, where he's just sitting there at the little moving ears. I think there was a question earlier. Did you ever get to hold Grogu?
I was by Grogu's double. No, I actually was. I could see Grogu here, but I'm on the set, like particularly the bridge scenes where he's Brendan's holding him. It's I call it the double, body double.
That was an earlier incarnation of the Grogu puppet as well. I think they've come a long way since then, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, it looked like Grogu. It just wasn't moving mechanically.
Oh, okay.
Right. You know what I mean? So, but I just look at the lighting. Look at Rosario.
Yeah.
Does she not look so beautiful?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a great moment.
So I don't know if you remember, it's been a couple of years when you and Iman did Fan Expo Boston, which is actually when I first met you. There was a family with a little Hera, and her name was Mackenzie.
Oh, I love Mackenzie.
Mackenzie's in the crowd right now. She's called Max Rebo, but Mackenzie and her family are watching right now.
I love Mackenzie.
Yeah.
Hi, you guys. Oh,
I agree about the behind the scenes. Behind the scenes are always the most interesting stuff.
Yeah, it really is. And the time and care that it takes to make these sets, it's a miracle. The speed that they can all put this together. Earlier, we were talking about the costumes of Shauna, but I mean, listen, Shauna, I don't know if people know this, but she actually was sort of trained in the fashion industry. Mm-hmm. So she knows a lot about design and proportion. And so she's just come up with some of the best designs. And
she had a great resume as well.
Yep. Let's see. What else?
Oh, they said the name.
My subtitles aren't on.
And they said the name, and I know that all of us are initially we liked Baby Yoda, we liked the kid. Okay, Grogu took a little bit to get off the tongue.
Now I did know about. I did know that Grogu was coming.
They gave you enough of that.
I did. Oh my gosh.
Well, they kept that original reveal so well hidden when in the first episode when we, first see him. That was the.
But we're talking about with Brendan. It was almost like that first thing when they're touching fingers. It was like the Da Vinci painting of man and God.
Right.
I thought it was much more like E.T. and Elliot.
That's it.
It's an ode to a lot of
Says,
things.
says the guy who's actually an art teacher and decides to go with the 80s reference. You know?
Wouldn't expect any less.
Yes. Actually.
Oh my gosh, he's so cute.
I love how he reacts there when Mando says his name for the first time. He's like, "Huh? What up?"
Yeah, I know. Huh?
So here's a question for you, Diana, and it has nothing to do with Star Wars. So if you were going to explain to a person for the first time what to expect at Boonta Eve, how would you describe it?
Oh my gosh, you have to go. It has to be on your bucket list. It's so much fun. I remember when I met, I'm like, what is this going to be like? And it was so much fun. It's so festive. It feels like a festival in a way, like a mini micro festival. And yeah, you have to go. It's just way too much fun.
I said it's fast paced. It's what was that?
Although I would not sing. I couldn't sing. I just
That's your call.
Well, to be fair, you had quite a line.
Yeah, you had no
at that
time
event.
to sing.
So they were like, "Aren't you going to go sing?" I'm like, "I don't want to torture people like that. You know, I'll hum."
There you go.
No, but we greatly appreciate having you there, and obviously doing our intimate event in Chicago, and then obviously capping off the year of having you at our Dave & Buster's end of the year and inducting you into the Hall of Fame, which big honor for us to be part of it.
It's an amazing honor. You guys are so amazing. I just, you guys are great. You know?
Thank you.
I don't remember if I talked about it when I was chatting with you briefly in Texas, but the first time I met you was at Dynasty Typewriter after you performed as the Emperor in the script read. And I only bring that up, well, because you're on the show, but they're doing the episode 8 one this coming Saturday. So
yes, yes, I contributed a little bit to that. Just a little.
You were an amazing Emperor / Palpatine.
You know what? To me, I was just a fan on that stage because I'm looking at
with everybody else. Yeah, they always have a great cast.
They're like some of the funniest, greatest comedians. And was it Lorraine? It was Lorraine Newman from.
Lorraine Newman is a regular. Yeah.
Crazy. What's interesting, I should have asked Taylor Gray about this because he ended up doing Saturday Night, the movie, which was about Era. And if people are most people should know who Taylor Gray is, right?
Yes.
They should.
We know Rebels very well. So
yeah.
And I think
he's the OG. He's the OG Ezra.
Yes.
OG Jabba the Hutt.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
That's right. So, and I just thought, this is really funny. I thought Taylor should almost be there. You know, it's just the connections.
Yeah, that the voice actors really lend themselves to, but everybody that they have on those shows is always stellar. So
yeah. Wasn't Bob amazing? Bobby Mark.
as
Star Wars Lego movies and.
He was Darth Maul in episode 1 of the script read, and that was out of hand. It was like such an amazing episode. He also played Jango Fett in episode 2, for the script read they did of that.
Did he? Oh, I got to see that.
He came back as Jango, and he had like a whole full-on cosplay and everything. He was really like, getting into it. So. But everybody they have is great. Currently, they have Taron Killam, who was on Saturday Night Live as.
Wow!
He plays both Poe and Hux.
Really?
In very, very different ways. And David Dashmalian. Anyway,
I know you're talking about.
He's doing Kylo Ren, so that's really
that's great.
Great.
Oh, that's brilliant! Oh my god!
I still can't believe they had Silent Bob play Han Solo.
Oh yeah.
So.
Kevin Smith came out as Han and just surprised everyone. That was classic.
Oh, it's fun, and yet everybody there they're diehard Star Wars fans. Everybody, So. Oh, I love this moment, guys, right here.
Oh yeah,
where he's like trying to relate and talk to him and get him to use the Force.
Yeah.
With the shifter knob.
I mean, and it's amazing because this is
Yep.
this is where the writing was just so incredible because it really just sets the stage for later on to when we get the finale episode. It's brilliant, you know. And I remember when this particular episode, and I believe the finale episode was nominated for the Golden Globes and for the Emmy. I mean, listen, I mean, I really feel Star Wars deserves a Golden Globe or an Emmy. I really do.
All the awards.
I think Andor got for writing. So
yes, I think they did. And
Diego was nominated.
Yes. At least they're doing the nominations. That I was grateful for.
Well, I'm glad that with next year they're going to start having the stunt Oscar.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, that's a really cool addition.
I know some of the people that were advocating for that, and it's time because
So much work is done by the
well, I know from being now a director and a producer as well that you know when you are action worldwide sells. It is the
Hi, Mac.
What's the time for bed? Oh, time for bed. Bye, Mac. Well, good night. Oh, may the force be with you. Yeah, I mean, you think about it. Action is what drives foreign sales and distribution, and so I always thought, why is it they don't have an award for best stunts or best stunt coordination or choreographer or whatever, you know, because it drives everything. Ooh, this is the part where they're talking about you know who.
And I love the fact that Ahsoka says that she can't train Grogu because she saw what fear has done to the best of the Jedi.
Yes.
Throw that to Anakin.
So are you guys there now where they're talking about the magistrate? Are you there yet?
Yes.
Yep.
Did you say her name yet?
I don't know. She plundered worlds.
Yep, we're there. We're on the same page pretty much. Yeah. Yes. This was the moment I screamed in my house. I'm like, I got a name. Everybody probably thinks that Grogu, but I got a name. That's what I was doing. It was so
both got a name in the same episode.
But nobody knew. I'm the only one that knew. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. I got a name.
So Lila has this wonderful question. She's like, with Celebration around the corner, what cosplay other than your character would you want to change to walk around to the crowd? Because a lot of times the actors have shown up on con floors in cosplay and no one realized. So if you were going to walk the floor of Celebration, what would you want to dress as?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think I would want to be the armorer.
Oh, that's a good one.
Emily and I think I want to be the armorer. I think that would be
very,
fun.
very stoic.
Yes.
And you could do like the minimalist kind of thing. And
yes, absolutely.
that would be cool.
That would be cool. So, but
ooh, this is great.
Yeah, you could probably get away with like switching. Is people have seen your face, you put you in the helmet. People don't see Emily's face as much. Put her as Morgan Elsbeth costume.
There you go.
That would be funny.
Mix it up. Ooh, look at that.
Slicing the bell in half.
Yeah, that bell. Look, here it goes.
Look at it. This, you know, when I see the way these fights were beautifully put together, I mean, you definitely, again, if you cross compare to Kurosawa's movies, the shots, this is incredible.
Well, that's always. Go ahead.
Do you know who this man is, Wing?
He's an Imagineer, isn't he?
He is so important to the to Disney. You know, he's incredible, and I was so happy that they cast him in this. It was such an honor. It's like he's like the Stan Lee of creating architecture for Disney.
Oh, wow.
He's very.
I love they had his character in Tales as well.
That's right. We were so happy to see each other, and he has such a magnificent mind, and you know he has helped design like the Disney ships, Disney, I think China, Disney. I mean everything. I mean his fingerprints have been all over the place, so he's a genius. And
those torture cages freaked me out. It's like almost like a bug zapper.
I know it was. Yet I ended up talking to the one gentleman. Oh my God, I'm forgetting his name. I shouldn't. He was so gracious because we would talk all the time behind the scenes, And I'm like, I'm so sorry. We would back and forth banter and make jokes, But he was such a good sport about it all, Ooh.
I love this misdirect. This is classic.
Oh, she gave her shade.
Killer.
There it is. Look at that.
And I just loved how Dave in the writing sets up Thrawn's name by saying, "Where is your master? Where is your master?" So by that time, the audience is hearing this and going, "Who's this master guy? Who is this?" And so when you hear, you're like, "Oh!" But no spoilers, right?
So if you had to explain to somebody who didn't know either, how would you explain the Force versus Night Sister magic?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think from what I understood, I was always told that I'm Force Morgan. Morgan is Force.
No, we can go with you. It's fine.
Morgan Force sensitive. So therefore she does have a connection to the Force. It's just that she manipulates it in a way that is not being a force for good, the way like Ahsoka. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the way I was interpreting it, and I would love to have another dialogue with Dave about this, it's almost like the Force can manifest in so many unique ways. We just have yet to understand completely,
Sure.
But it's interesting. Like, I was with Sam Witwer a couple times and we were talking about all this, because our characters we're the kids from Dathomir, and we have a bad attitude, but hey, can you blame us?
Right.
So.
Another great reveal. Her twin blades.
Oh yeah, the sabers behind everybody.
Mr. Michael, he's such a badass. I just love him.
I'm glad they didn't cover him up and make him, totally
didn't
like
put him in a
helmet.
mask or anything. He's just kind of got that chest piece that's kind of reminiscent of like Vader, at least through the shoulders,
Yeah.
but then different.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely borrowing from other armor.
So while we have you talk about this, can you tell us any great anecdotes about the great late Ray Stevenson?
Oh, wow. I always had, nicknames for different cast members, but particularly in those first months when I was on Ahsoka, I was mainly around Ray and Ivana. So of course, Ivana, I called her Heart and Soul because she has an amazing heart and soul. And then Ray was poetry in motion because he would come in and everything, the way he talks is like philosophy and poetry, yet there's always such joy. And he really just makes doing a scene so easy, like having the perfect dance partner. And he leads you in a way where I'm like, oh, because as an actor, you got to listen, right? Because sometimes the delivery of the other actor will trigger maybe another response. And he was just like that perfect dance partner as an actor. And I miss Ray all the time. We are all friends with Ray's love, Betta, and their boys. I went past 2 years to Spain because now they have the Ray of Light Awards film festival. And it's in Ibiza, Spain. And it's amazing because Ray, this is the fight.
Here comes it's going to go down right now.
There's that. These wind machines that were on us, I don't know if people can tell. Holy smokes. Those wind machines were huge. They had 2 of them and they were just blowing like crazy. And we had mics and it was so funny because I could not hear myself. And I was wondering if Rosario could hear me, but apparently they could hear us. So
Rosario's leggings are really moving.
Yeah.
You can see your cloak as well. And the water, you see that total like texture of the surface of the water.
Yeah. What I appreciate with Dave when I did this fight scene is he really let me have my input where it was needed. But the beautiful thing is, many of the stunt people, and particularly the two choreographers, are used to train at my dad's academy. So it was much of the fight scene was already customized for me because they knew my training and my martial arts background. And then where I wasn't making contact with Rosario, I would improvise. And I was stunned that they actually kept that in this episode. But it was beautiful. And then I also need to give love to my stunt double, which is Lauren Kim, who is also a student under my father. So it was like
She's
having
very
my
cool.
kid sister with me.
Nice.
And she was Ahsoka too. She
Yes.
was the anime.
She was
Right.
animated
right.
motion capture.
So I'm very proud to have had her by my side because this was a 17-hour day. We had to get this in because they needed to tear apart this set, then as soon as possible, because they had to film the next day something completely different. I can't remember what it was.
Crazy. Oh, there goes her blade.
One thing we were talking about with Brendan with this is that he was so excited to square off with Michael, like just actually the old school Western.
Yep. Yeah, this was great. What a tribute to Westerns, right?
I just know at some point on the set he said, I'm your Huckleberry. No, even if it was in his head, it happened.
I always think of Terminator when I see him, but he's done a lot since then.
Here we go. Here comes the line.
Oh, you guys got ahead of me, I think, somehow.
Well, so she has a saber at your neck right now,
Yep.
and Michael's putting
Now I'm there. Okay, I'm just confused. Yep. Big moment. I was so happy that this episode makes me so happy. Just the title alone, the Jedi episode. It's a great title. No.
He's so much faster.
Boom. Yeah. It's so funny how Brendan really does have his grandfather's like total stance.
Right in the head.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's got the built-in kind of that swagger.
Yeah.
Well, and we were talking to him a couple of weeks ago as how he had the input on like, no, you guys have the holster too high; it has to be lower so I can really do the draw and the.
Yeah, that's great that they ask for and accept that type of input just to make things. People that know the stuff, let them kind of advise on that.
Yeah.
Inform those things.
I remember having an audible gasp when they dropped the name Grand Admiral Thrawn in live action. Right. Like, wait, what? Because I remember when we got it in Rebels, we were like, oh my God, we're getting at least an animation. Right. But now we're getting live action. And so a lot of us, I was at the panel in London.
Oh,
so I got to see the reveal.
You were there in the audience.
I was in the third row, and so I got to see Ray with you guys. And I was there for when John said, "Let's show the director's cut of the commercial of the trailer. It shows Lars's face." And that's when we first found out that it was Lars.
Oh yeah, that one reveal, everybody lost their shit.
Yeah,
it was awesome. I was in the room with a bunch of our members.
That day was so magical for all of us, even though I was totally jet lagged.
Yeah,
I think I had only 2 or 3 hours sleep, but it was such a magical day. And for Ray and Lars, first of all, with Ray, I'm so glad he at least had that
flowers there
audience because it was just so beautiful. And then Lars was so just overwhelmed with emotion. He did not understand completely, even though he had voiced Grand Admiral Thrawn. He did not completely understand what Star Wars Celebration was until he went out on that stage and felt the energy of all the Star Wars fans. I mean, I think we were all just absolutely touched, and it was just a magical weekend for all of us. It really was.
It was great, and I was happy that Ray got his flowers there because honestly, Ahsoka season 1 Balin was a runaway character, like in that show, and to see the love. I mean, if he was alive, to see the love that he would have received. That would have been outstanding.
Yeah. What's beautiful is Dave, through Matthew Wood, they had actually set up a way to where everybody in the community where Ray lived on Ibiza could see the Ahsoka episodes. And
wow!
Really, his children and his other family members, and that was very special. And wow, looking forward to Ahsoka too. And I'm looking forward to our new Balin. And I know he's going to do a beautiful job.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Ray, being the amazing artist that he was, would absolutely, just like in Shakespeare, you had different actors that play the same character, would want nothing but the best, for our new Balin, So
well, we look forward to seeing him for sure.
Yeah.
And I just to see that Rory is actually jumping into the con circuit this year already.
Sure he is. I'm sure he is. Yeah. It was, it was really nice too. When I was in Prague, I didn't realize that was probably outside of Star Wars Celebration. Ray had been at that particular Comic-Con in Prague. And I think it was because he had worked on Thor or something like that at the time. But it was just, I always feel the energy, the crossover of energy, and it's wonderful. It's beautiful. And I mean, that's what makes Star Wars special, and even the connection that we are allowed to have with our fans. It's just, how do I explain it, guys? I mean, it's like just having this big tribe, no matter where you are in the world. I can be in Australia, I can be in New Zealand, I can be in the Philippines. I don't know if you saw the pictures of me where I was doing this thing with the 501st and Rebel Legion. Yes. And it's just amazing, and every Comic-Con. Yeah. Thank you. Yay.
Yes.
Our wonderful director, Dave Filoni. I love these drawings, by the way. Aren't these drawings?
Oh, yeah.
Doug's.
The fact they put a book out with all this stuff was amazing.
Now, did you notice, though, the Magistrate was originally a man? Watch.
Oh.
And I think the book covers this, too.
They just showed your name.
But look at it. It's a male figure.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, in Japan,
it's more like it's originally
like interior,
an indoor like dojo setting instead of like a.
Yeah. It's
actually in Japan. I actually was able to get Doug to sign the book.
Did you really? I love Doug.
He's the fact that he was he was a guest on the floor in Japan was huge because he never is on the floor. He's usually just walking around and people will grab like a selfie with him or an autograph, but he was actually a brought-in guest which was, for him and John Knoll to be there was amazing.
Yeah, he's so humble. He's so kind.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, look at all these. Gary Beck, so important.
Yep.
All these amazing, look at Maria, Alexi, right? Yeah, look at all these amazing people. I mean, this is, I hope people do take the time to look at the credits and see the dedication.
Well, adding that concept art in there really gives you a extra reason to sit there and watch, because seeing that stuff sort of before it was fleshed out is amazing. That's more behind the scenes.
Interesting, like the creative process, right?
Yeah.
So,
and like you said, seeing the concept of the Magistrate and Ahsoka squaring off, and it obviously being a different person in that position.
Yeah, and all the other drawing. I mean, listen, all the other drawings of other women they had in mind. And here's the thing, guys. I feel so honored to have been picked for this, because they could have easily gone with a movie star. They really could have. They could have gone with a much bigger actress. And so I definitely recognized immediately the wonderful and unique position that I was in. And I'm just forever grateful that John and Dave believed in me to carry on this mission of, playing Morgan Elsbeth,
And
Mm-hmm.
so when you finally got the call for Ahsoka season 1, and you're pretty much the antagonist for that season. How did that feel when you finally, when you heard that you were getting jailbroke, and then you were going to be the catalyst that brought Thrawn back to the galaxy?
Oh, I loved it. And there's something about when you're in that hallway. Both Ray and I were talking about this. Not too many people get to do the hallway breakout scene.
Right.
So there was some kind of a historical note we were all kind of being mindful of at that moment. Yeah, that was really cool. And seeing Ray combing through all the stunt people, and as he's rescuing Morgan Elsbeth. So I loved it. So you were saying you wanted me to show some things too, right?
Oh yes.
Oh,
So
anything you-
we have. Oh yeah. So but wait, there's more people.
Oh yeah. So you're gonna laugh because you got to remember the timing. The timing of when the night that the Mandalorian episode aired, which ironically was also the birthday. Thank you, Helen. That is so kind. Thank you. Oh, Troy, thank you so much. Wow. Wow. That was the night of my godfather's birthday. So
wow.
I could not believe the synchronicity that episode aired on my godfather's birthday. So it was really cool. But meanwhile, some Christmas time came around. I was not familiar with Dave Filoni's signature at all, but I get this beautiful gift and I have no idea. In fact, I got a little alarm that maybe somebody found out, some stranger, that I had to be careful of, found out where I, and I got
send stuff to your home address.
Yes.
Oh.
So
right there. Perfect.
That Dave did for me at Christmas. I didn't know that was his signature. And finally he says, eventually when I was on Ahsoka, he's like, did you ever get that thing? And that thing. I said, I'm like, that was you. and he had this beautiful note, and I'll just,
nice.
I'll never, I had this had this framed. So, but beautiful memories,
Mm-hmm.
So you guys got to tell me now, what was your top 3 favorite shows, or what made you just say, I am all in for Star Wars?
There's a movie called Star Wars.
Okay, so you were OG. You were like,
before
I'm OG.
Yeah, I'm the old man of the show here, so I'm almost a decade older than a portion of a decade older than these guys. So the original Star Wars. I'm actually the Star baby. Wars. Yes.
You're the baby.
Yeah. But being, it's always in my mind Star Wars, even though now I've gotten in the habit of calling it A New Hope.
I know, right? That's the weird thing. I'm the same way. I'm like, why do people call it A New Hope? I'm like, oh, that's right. They later on gave it.
So
I blame millennials.
Some of us were introduced a
my
little
gateway
later.
right there.
Oh, the EU. Oh.
Is like Jedi is really my first film that I can remember in theaters originally.
So I've told this story several times. So my first foray was actually seeing Empire Strikes Back in '80.
Oh, really?
I was 4 years old, and I remember it because in the opening scene in Hoth, Chewbacca's up on the Falcon welding.
Okay.
And I start crying because I think he's going to singe his fur or electrocute himself. So my father took me out of the theater and said, "You're embarrassing me." And I've never forgotten that. And I've been hooked. And ironically, it's not only my favorite Star Wars movie, but Empire is my favorite movie of all time.
It's done very well. I mean, it's incredible how it's amazing. Yeah. Of course I love Star Wars, and the fact that it was nominated for Academy Award for Best Picture.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, a sci-fi movie nominated for Best Picture. And that was the time when there was only 5 slots. That was pretty incredible.
And back at that time as well, I want to give, because obviously we're coming up literally next year celebrating the 50th of the movie and of the saga. But let's talk about the fact that the Oscar was won by Marshall Lucas and Paul Hirsch for editing.
Yes.
On that film.
Yeah. Yeah. And the editing is amazing. You know, I just, people have no idea to put special effects, stunts, and to keep track with how the arc of these characters are developing. It is truly nothing to, you know, easy. It's quite a monumental task, you know, to have to balance all those worlds and have everybody on the same page. And I just wish sci-fi in general just didn't always get, you know, there seems to be still some distancing, like, you know, there seems, I don't want to say the word bourgeois, but there's still this thing like, oh, we can't completely acknowledge, you know, I mean, Dune now gives me hope in some ways, right. You know, but, you know, it's been a long time coming to have sci-fi of any magnitude to be able to be respected on this artistic level, you know, I mean, and I don't, you know, on Shakespeare, they had fantasy and right. You know, why can't it, people still view the sci-fi in this world, you know, in this way as art in some way, you know.
Stuff
you
like Star Wars, it was almost like a bad word if you said you were a Star Wars fan for a while. And then
when we were growing up, definitely.
Yeah.
It didn't, you know, it didn't have the level of connotation of being a Trekkie.
But in general, that's
just so fun to talk about Trekkies and Star Wars.
Oh, I know, and I know your connection to the Trekkies there.
Yes.
You're both peoples.
Yes. You did your homework. Yes. And I loved it. I did last year. I was in Vegas and they had a section on Star Wars of all things at this Trekkie convention, and people came out for it. And, you know, listen, we make jokes all the time, but people at Star Wars, we love the Trekkie people. We love it. And I get a kick out of doing any kind of panel where it's about, what was it, last year at San Diego Comic-Con. I loved it because I had there were these two psychologists, and they were doing this whole thing about the psychology of Star Trek versus the psychology of Star Wars. And I love stuff like that. And it was packed. I loved, it was one of my favorite panels to do.
Well, I know that 2 years ago when you were at San Diego, Dave and I actually ran into you at the 501st booth.
Oh, wait a minute. Yes. Uh-huh. Yes.
It was us and Mark Von Olen. We had met with you. You were standing there hanging out, and we were just chatting for a little bit. It was right after Boston. Yeah. So I had to talk about that. I just met you in Boston. But
so tell me that even though you were there for Star Wars at the Trek convention, that people knew you were in Trek because you doubled Hoshi, yes?
Yes, I did. Yeah. In fact, and then there were other things too. I remember my husband had worked on Star Trek. God, which show was it? Because there's so many of them. But we were working on, at one point, a fight system or style for the Klingons, the bat lift, because my husband was with Vince, Diedrich, who was the stunt coordinator at that time, and that was God, that was so long ago. Oh my gosh, yeah, that was. I'm kind of showing my age here. So, but yeah, I have a lot of great memories working for the Star Trek people, and it's a great crew. You know, there's a lot of mutual love and respect, even though we all kind of tease each other. You know. So.
What do you want the legacy of Morgan Elsbeth to be?
Oh, that's a deep question.
Spoiler alert to end of season 1 of Ahsoka, but we can cross that bridge another time.
Yeah, the legacy of Morgan Elsbeth. One thing I would love, and I will say this, I'm going to put this out there, Lucasfilm people. I would love to see there be a book like a Timothy Zahn or somebody of that caliber doing a book on Morgan Elsbeth. I think she's fascinating. The fact that because of her past and the trauma she went through, all that time trying to figure out a way to survive, you know, and I think it would be interesting to see that. And I do think her story is still evolving. I just get that feeling intuitively that her story is still evolving, and they haven't put the they're still putting the bigger picture together for all the fans. But I could be wrong.
Where Morgan is lacking is she doesn't have a comic, she doesn't have a novelization. There's all those, like the question we had earlier. There's all those like in between things that what happened. Where did that go?
Well, I think you need to get on your cell phone and call the new president of Lucasfilm and say, "Hey, Dave,
where's my comic? Damn it!"
Right.
Got some pull now. Let's do it.
And while you're at it, could you ask for Nelson to have a figure since Dave decided to embarrass him in that panel when you guys had in Texas last year?
Oh, sounds good. I'll definitely have that. I'll write that down, and
Yeah, I know.
talk to his people. Yes,
Be on it right away.
I love Nelson. He's the best. Oh my gosh.
No, but it's so wonderful seeing how like you thought it was a joke when you got the call.
Yeah.
Dave got the joke when he got the call from George, and now Dave is the president of Lucasfilm.
Yeah, isn't that funny? And I did. I thought
Evolution.
at one point I thought, now this is getting cruel. At first I thought it was my manager playing this joke on me, Tarek, and because we always had a tradition. We've always been Star Wars geeks, right? And we've always had a tradition every year, whether it's our birthdays or if it's Christmas. I buy him some, silly Star Wars gift. I don't care if it's a toothbrush. I don't care if it's toothpaste. The socks. It's just been our thing. So when he stayed on it, like. You got an audition. I just said, stop it, knock it off, and then I realized it took me about probably 5 minutes to realize, oh my gosh, you are really serious. There is an audition and I got to get ready for this. Cause I had to sign an NDA, by the way.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Probably big time, right?
So I was like, and I cried. I mean, I must've cried at different points. Like, I cannot believe this is happening, that I'm auditioning for this, and the magnitude of it.
So John wants to know, do you remember your first signing after this episode, and what was that like?
Yeah, it was interesting because I was invited to go to Chicago, and if you remember, guys, we were still in the middle of COVID, and they were just starting to loosen a little bit of the standards. But yeah, I remember it was Chicago, and that's where I met Hayden. I met Hayden there. And of course, I saw Giancarlo there. And it was amazing because Hayden we both didn't realize that we would be seeing each other and working together on Ahsoka.
Oh, I think we have a picture of that day. I think you were inducted into.
Oh, this is actually, this is actually wasn't in Chicago. This was in California. This is the 501st, and some of these guys are my martial arts students. I had to keep this a secret that I was going to be in Mandalorian, and Mark Creeder is one of our students. He's amazing. I felt so honored getting this. This was incredible.
So Jonathan was actually at one of your signings and public appearances after the pandemic, and actually met you and Ryan Tariq there.
There. Okay. In California. Okay.
In California. Yeah. And I can tell you,
Santa Maria.
That's how long we've been trying to get you on a watch along, because John was trying to talk it up then.
Okay. Oh, wow. That's amazing. The path. Sorry it took so long, guys. Oh my gosh.
As long as we got there.
No, we finally got there. And I speaking from all of us here, just as fans, not just talking about the VCN, it's so wonderful to have you as an ambassador for what we love. And what I love to tell guests that come on here is that when we were kids, the holy trinity of Harrison, Carrie, and Mark was unattainable. Meaning that if we saw them, it was far away. We would never have to we couldn't have a conversation or express our love. But the fact that you're doing conventions or even coming on shows, we feel like we're one step away from actually being in the Star Wars. So we want to thank you for opening your heart and your arms to us, to allow us to hear the stories that brought you into this universe that we love.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is so kind. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, that is thank you. That I'm really touched by that. And listen, we feel particularly for any of us that are chosen to be part of the cast, we feel very strongly about our fans, and we care very much. And we're just so grateful. We really are grateful to our fans and people like you that keep Star Wars, being something to talk about and to share. And also these stories are important in a way. I always say they're like Aesop fables, right? They teach us something about our humanity. I mean, we saw that with Andor. We see this over and over. And that's what makes Star Wars special. It's the storytelling really does say something beyond, that, it gets us talking about maybe things that normally may not be easy to talk about, but we can when we are discussing this through these characters and what they are challenged with, and how they have to overcome and have hope and faith. And yeah, it's cool. It's a good thing.
And we, from the VCN, we're very proud to have you as a member of our Hall of Fame. Thank you for everything you've done for the VCN, and continue doing to be a big supporter of what we do, because we feel that we're trying to express some positivity in the fandom, and you exemplify our mission. So we thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. And thank you, everybody out there that watched this with us, And
yeah, there's so many people in the chat that are just talking about, all of their things that came into Star Wars. Star Wars is my religion. It was the Star Wars and Andor. Lonnie is Return of the Jedi. But, all of the things. It's like, Jimbo's like a marathon style. Back in 84.
Oh, he did the marathon style? That's pretty
on TV.
There, yeah, on TV,
probably on like some
like TBS
cable channel.
Yeah. Oh no, the 84. That's like I don't even know this before TBS. But all of the things is like Sherry. It's like the minute the Star Destroyer came across this.
Yep.
Scene.
Yeah, that opening. It just yeah.
Right. And then Lonnie is, of course, as a Southeast Asian, so special to see you in The Mandalorian. Representation means so much to so many people.
Oh, wow. I'm honored. Seriously.
I actually, I don't know, Dave and Jeff might not know this, but I actually got a challenge coin in Japan that I gave to Diana when I saw her in Chicago of Morgan Elsbeth and The Stranger. So the correlation of the Filipino of Diana and Manny.
Yes.
That's
Isn't
awesome.
it amazing? And you can be from any part of the world, and it just brings people together. That's what I love,
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I don't think we can end it any greater than that. So, Dave, is there anything you want to say before we close out?
I mean, just I've enjoyed so much. I've enjoyed meeting you in person. I love the stories that you've finally gotten a chance to come on here and tell. And thank you to all of our viewers out there. We've got just like huge numbers of people watching Diana and watching with us tonight, and that just shows how important that Star Wars and all of the fantasy work and your work specifically are important to people, and I think that's great.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Just really great insight, and the love that you show for the franchise is amazing. So it's always fun to hear you talk and hear the stories, and I look forward to seeing you at the next thing, whatever that may be. And it'll be fun, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I can't wait, and especially next year is a very important year.
Mm-hmm.
Bring the tribe together.
We got a lot going on, so
absolutely.
George built. Oh my gosh! Have you seen even the outline of it? Has anybody?
So Jeff lives in LA, so he's driven by, and
Oh, the museum is very kind of striking. It's in a space that sort of, I mean, we're surrounded by the Coliseum and other museums.
Yeah.
So I look forward to going there and then being able to go visit the space shuttle at the Air and Space Museum, Science Museum, right, a block away. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. I've seen tons of photos and flyovers and things of it. So I'm looking forward to kind of check out that space and see what it offers.
Special.
Also, I've heard that some of the displays will be rotating very regularly. So
really?
I think they're going to encourage people to return, because certain things will be on display at certain times for like 6 months at a time or something like that.
Wow. Yeah.
So that'll be very cool.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. And as we know, tickets for Star Wars Celebration go on sale in 2 weeks. So let's get started.
Wow.
This is where the fun begins. From all of us here at VCN and Diana, we would like to say, may the force be with you, and this is the way.
May the force be with you. This is the way.
For Dathomir.
Or for Dathomir. All right, guys. All right. Well, everybody have a good night forever. I don't know what corner of the world you're at, but, I'll take care.
All right. And with that,
you guys are great. Take care.
Oh,